Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien on the morning of Friday, August 11th, 2023. Stand by for commentary. Well, today's commentary is on justices of the Supreme Court. You notice in recent months, the wolves that we call the media, especially CNN and Fox, well, not Fox, but CNN especially, have sunk their teeth into Justice Clarence Thomas in his gifts vacation. Oh, yeah. And to a certain extent, CNN is right on certain things, wrong on others. Okay. Let me specify how the Constitution governs a justice of the Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice. Justices of the Supreme Court right now earn $268,000 around there. The Chief Justice, Mr. Roberts, earns about $280,000 a year. Now, compare that with congressmen, senators, and the president who earns over $400,000. And the Supreme Court has the bigger responsibilities of all three because they got to determine the laws for the entire country. Okay? And they're supposed to be impartial. But you know there's no such thing as impartiality in the United States. Heck, you got your own views. You can be an extremist Republican, extremist Democrat, liberal, conservative, ultra-leftist, ultra-rightist. And some of the Supreme Court are that. Clarence Thomas, well, I call him an opportunist. But if you look at the Supreme Court justices, they're allowed to make no more than $30,000 for teaching engagements a year. $30,000. Okay. But book deals, there's no limit on that. And you notice that all the justices there, no matter who you call, Justice Barrett, or Justice Alito, or Thomas even, have book deals. Justice Sotomayor, since her 2010 appointment, I think she's got, $3.3 million in royalties from bookies? See, Americans? And, they're accusing Justice Thomas of taking free vacations on somebody else's dime. Well, for one thing, I don't think that the Constitution fathers ever wanted the Supreme Court justice to take a free vacation on somebody else's dime, because that means that that dime is going to come back to hurt you, because you owe them now. You are owned by them. For them, they looked at the Supreme Court as independent justices or judges who had to interpret the Constitution, therefore they should have no allegiance to A, B, C, D, E, or F. Boy, were they mistaken, weren't they? Ooh! And you were right, President Jefferson. Half a loaf is better than no loaf at all, and the half loaf that you didn't like was the Supreme Court. Boy, you say come back to haunt the people here. And if you're in your grave and you're looking at me, you could say, I told you so. But you see, Americans, here's the problem with your so-called representatives, whether you're a Supreme Court justice, a congressman representing your district, a senator representing your state, and the guy that's representing you as the president. They don't understand their jobs. None of them do. And that's the problem that you got. And you don't understand their job either. Because you keep on voting for Republicans and Democrats. That has no meaning at all. What does your district need? How does that compare to other districts in your state? So that's where you have to have the other congressmen that represent the other districts and the 2 senators that represent your states, or are supposed to represent. But remember, you got different parties and different districts and different parties in the Senate. Some senators can be one from one party and one from the other. What do you got, a 2-headed state? So which side do you represent? Oh, I represent the north side of the state and I represent the south side of the state. Really? You can't do that. You got to represent the entire state. And you can't have an allegiance to a Republican or a Democrat, because that doesn't help at all the United States of America. That helps the party. And oh yeah, when we get there, we're going to do this, this, and this. There is no continuation here, because you tear down what the other successor did, and then, your predecessor, and then your successors tear down what you did. How far can you go along with this? And when you become senator, Georgia's a good example of that. You had 2 strange Republican senators there. Now you got 2 really leftist Democrats representing the state of Georgia. And a Republican governor. Woo! A Republican state secretary of state. Oh, that's going to be fun, isn't it? What kind of a way is that to run a state? Really? Michigan. You get a Democratic governor. Sometimes you get a Republican in there. Very few times, but the ones you've had, well, they haven't been any good, have they? Milliken? Yeah. He wasn't much good there. Romney? Yeah, no, it wasn't Mitt Romney either. It was George Romney. Yo! Yeah. Heck, he couldn't run AMC, and then he tried to run Michigan. Oh boy! What did you get? Well, by the time he left office, you had hecky riots in Michigan. Remember those? That didn't accomplish anything, did it? So you see, Americans, here's what you do. But the Supreme Court is basically the one part of your government that should be off limits to everybody. Sure, they only get paid $268,000 a year. Wow. And how much does the government give you for living allowance in D.C., which is expensive, $268,000. If you look at D.C., it doesn't go very far. If you live on the very low means, But these guys don't live on the low means. You take Thomas and you take Sotomayor and Barrett. They're known for high in the hog living. And if I were elected to the Supreme Court or appointed to the Supreme Court, my job is to look at the Constitution for as long as I'm there. That means do not accept any freebies. Do not go to any vacations. Get yourself out of D.C. once in a while, but make sure that you have a place designated by the government, just like Camp David has been designated by the president. See? It used to be called Shangri-La before it became Camp David. Remember that? Shangri-La? Yeah. But you have to do this because you are a representative of the United States of America. You're not Clarence Thomas. You're not Justice Barrett. You're definitely not Chief Justice Roberts. You are the Chief Justice of the United States until you croak or you say, I retire, then you can become Clarence Thomas or Sotomayor. Yeah, then you become that person. But when you take the appointment of Justice of the Supreme Court, You cede your life to the Uncle Sam. Do you understand me, Americans? I hope so. This is your favorite alien. Good day.